Who is the blue collar boss in 2 videos? Number 1, 9-year-old boy decides his future. The blue collar boss, me, was born just before World War II in 1939. So I am a certified old fart, and I am still expelling to the world. My beginnings story is one such gas release. Can a 9-year-old boy choose his future life story? Yes. I'm here to prove it. I'm Rod Murphy. I'm 83 years old and the creator of the Blue Collar Boss YouTube channel and a serial entrepreneur. And that doesn't mean a cornflakes capitalist. I grew up poor but loved in a big Irish family in Boston, in a three-decker in the Cambridge neighborhood. My father had a low-paying job and my mother stayed home with a parcel of kids. We were all expected to get a part-time job as soon as possible. I was about 9. I remember looking around for a part-time job. I began to notice that my father was going to work every day at a job and a boss he didn't like. I decided that was not for me. I began to watch the self-employed vendors that came into our neighborhood. In those days, the 40s and the 50s, we had shouting peddlers with loud, raucous, and sometimes melodious voices. I loved the many horse and wagon vendors and scrap buyers who clopped through the area, hollering their products and services to the neighborhood housewives. There were icemen and junkmen and fruit and vegetable peddlers and knife sharpeners, junkmen, cooked blue crab wagons, etc., all calling out. One of the most colorful was the older, grandfatherly black man in white clothes who made the best hand-scraped snow cones topped with Zarex fruit syrups. We called him Aunt Jemima. I don't know where that name came from. These small businessmen seemed to have their shit together much better than my father. I began to picture myself in my own business. I thought, why don't I start such a business with no boss when I get older? Today I realize that I was a born entrepreneur and knew it at 9 years old. I sold newspapers at a textbook publishing factory located next to Boston's Charles River. As the shifts ended, the workers streamed out through a central door and had to pass me. I stood with armfuls of all the Boston newspapers, handing out papers, taking in change. In between shifts, I would hawk the papers up and down the traffic lanes that had stopped at the lights at Memorial Drive. I earned about $7 a week plus tips from that gig. And I found another gig, selling college pennants at Boston College, Boston University, and Harvard stadiums. I was set up near the ticket entrances, wherever the Boston colleges played their home games. So then I figured a better, even better, 100% profit system at the same venues. I used to stand near the ticket entrance of whatever stadium was having a home game. I was a skinny, raggedy, kind of dirty, red-headed, freckled, and cute. In my best poor kid manner, I would beg extra tickets. Got any extra tickets? Students and alumni would sometimes have a friend cancel and have an extra ticket. Thinking I was just a sad kid wanting to see the game, they would hand me the extra tickets. I would then scalp the tickets to other fans in 2 ways. Most would buy from me at a discount because there were still legitimate tickets available at the ticket counter. Sometimes, though, I was given sellout tickets or even better seats than were available at the ticket counter. I would sell those tickets at a premium. On a good autumn Saturday, I would earn $25 or more. That was sometimes more than my father made a week. Not bad for a 9-year-old kid. I also learned about shining shoes from Earl Carter, the only black kid in our group of boys. We had diversity even then, but we did not make it a big phony deal. He told me that some of his black pals were making big bucks shining shoes on Sunday mornings in Central Square. So one Sunday, I went to early Mass at my Catholic church and then did a reconnaissance and a financial analysis of the shoe shine industry's potential. Ha! Today, Harvard MBA candidates spend years learning how to do just that. So there were black kids set up with shine boxes at all the entrances to the subway on both sides of Mass Ave. People at that time dressed up for Sunday church services. Some men taking their subway to church in downtown Boston would get a shine every Sunday. The only supplies needed were black, brown, and oxblood polish, rags, and a brush for brown and a brush for black shoes. The going rate was 25 cents, but we were often given a $50 or a quarter tip. That looked like easy money to a 9-year-old kid. So, I had money from my newspaper efforts for the polish and the brushes. Then I bought a used wooden shoe shine box, at a Salvation Army store. In the shoe shine business, the toughest early bird got the sweet spot. On that first Sunday, when I set up in Central Square, I had my first fist fight with a black kid who found me doing business and what he thought was his spot. I won that fight. So I had location, and location. Hawking my wares came easy to me with my shouted, "Shine, mister!" heard by all potential customers walking by. That first Sunday, I made over $20. I had found Valhalla on earth. My mother set up a bank account for me at the Cambridgeport Savings Bank. Being early guaranteed me the best spot most of the time, but not always, though. Some observations from a 9-year-old entrepreneur. Being early, being creative, being honest and hardworking was the best plan for success.